Hi, my name is Chantel Corey, and I'm the Executive Director of Midwest Mission Distribution Center, located right outside of Springfield, Illinois, in Pawnee. Our mission is to transform the resources of God's people into humanitarian aid that is sent around the world and around the corner. We work to send those supplies, showing God's love in a practical way with health, education, microbusiness, and disaster relief supplies that bring hope and empowerment to those who receive it during a vulnerable time in their life. Last year was a record-breaking year. We sent almost $11 million worth of supplies out in 294 domestic shipments and 25 international shipments. One of our domestic shipments, which was the largest one we've ever done on record, it was worth almost $5 million in one semi-trailer. That's a 54-foot semi-trailer, was one we never expected to happen. Granted, when all of us started 2020, we didn't expect for a pandemic to be taking over our country and our world. But we always praise ourselves on being ready when disasters happen. We specialize in disaster response. So when this pandemic hit, I told my staff, this is now. This is our time. We have been called for such a time as this. So our doors have never closed, and God has been with us all the way. We sent out 4 times as many supplies this year as we did the prior record-breaking year in 2019, and we did that with 70% less help. Normally, we have around 1,800 volunteers, and this year we had around 500. Ladies and gentlemen, this is only because we serve a great and amazing God that these things are able and possible to happen. When the end of the year came around and my staff and I were tired and we saw these numbers, we were amazed that this had even happened in our midst. So God is a great and amazing God, and he's always on the move at Midwest Mission. So I want to tell you about a story that happened during this time that especially shows how God is with us and shows up in big ways each and every day at Midwest Mission. So on a Friday evening, I got a text message from a partner, Southside Christian Church here in Springfield, Illinois. And they asked if I'd ever heard of the American Indian Christian Mission. And I said no. And so they went on to tell me about their experience with this mission that they regularly go to. And then he said, well, I'd like to introduce you to the executive director there. They're really struggling with getting supplies. Can I give him your number? And without hesitation, on a Friday evening, and I had nothing better to do, I said, sure, give him my number. So I got a call from Jeff Klein, the executive director of the American Indian Christian Mission. And he was telling me about how they naturally are in a food desert. They struggle to get supplies regularly. They work with the White Mountain Apache tribe, the Navajo Nation, and the Hopi Indian tribe as well, too, in Arizona, in different parts of New Mexico. And he was telling me that many people in the Navajo Nation don't even have running water. So as people were being told to wash their hands more, they're using more water that they just didn't even have access to. So they had a great need for hand sanitizer and other items, and there was just none. Not even if you made it there on Monday when your friend called to tell you the truck came in to get there to get some. There was just none. And they were in full lockdown. So they couldn't go to the grocery store. They couldn't go to the post office. They could not leave their homes unless they had masks and gloves. And there were none to be found. So that was causing issues with people not being able to get food, not being able to go to work, let alone with not having access to cleaning supplies when people were getting infected to clean in their homes, because many of these people also live with multi-generations of people in their family home. So by the time I got off the phone with Jeff, I had amazingly agreed to send him a shipment of supplies kind of without even thinking about it. And even though I can be that way sometimes, usually I want to talk to my staff and figure it out, but I just felt led by God to just say yes on the spot. And by Saturday morning, God had revealed to me an amazing plan and opened so many doors. I called the gentleman who had reached out to me the week prior and said he needed some community service and was a truck driver. And within a few minutes later, agreed to drive a semi down to Arizona with all these supplies. Then everybody was looking for hand sanitizer. And the first brewery I called that was making hand sanitizer agreed to get me a shipment on Monday, and I could have it at half price without me even asking for it. These kind of things went on and on. We ended up getting bottles from a gentleman who had a brother in Canada that made bottles and just happened to be putting the right bottle we needed on the line that very next day. We sent somebody all the way to New York to pick these bottles up that were coming from Canada so we could get them back to Midwest Mission and get them filled within the few days that we had in this window to get these on a shipment that was leaving on Friday. Many people came out and volunteered, even though they were in the throes of the pandemic and fear was running rampant. People stepped up in these big ways, and the devil came against us in many ways as well, whether it was sending the trailer back after it left, but we still found the right guy to work on it, and he immediately put it back on the road. And when that semi got to Arizona that next Friday after that call, the people there unloaded it quickly and got it into the hands of people that needed it. We were actually the first people to get supplies into the Navajo Nation, to the Apache people and the Hopi people during the pandemic. And I just talked to Jeff yesterday on the phone, and he said it just was amazing. He couldn't believe the turnaround and how everybody came together. But that's how it happens at Midwest Mission. God leads us, we answer the call. And through partnerships with multiple churches and nonprofit organizations and corporations, we're able to do things in an amazing way and with amazing speed and agility. So when you donate to Midwest Mission, for every dollar that was given to us in 2020, $9.24 of in-kind supplies was given out. And like we said, we specialize in those 4 areas: health, education, micro-business, and disaster relief. So all of 2020 felt like a disaster, but there was also many hurricanes that ravaged Latin American and Caribbean countries that we sent containers quickly of supplies into. And there was forest fires in Oregon and flooding in the Midwest that we also sent kits out to. Those things we are prepared to do because you guys donate those supplies ahead of time. You assemble them at your churches, or you come to Midwest Mission and assemble them. So we have that supply on hand, and we can get it out and get it delivered within 24 hours of a request coming in. The micro business area is sewing machines and bicycles. So we take in these machines. We have volunteers who work to repair these and get them in good working order, and then we send those out. I know sewing machines in the hands of people in developing countries is a ticket to a new way of life. It's an empowering tool that they can use to now make a living for themselves. And when it comes to bikes, they're so important because transportation is a key barrier to poverty, whether it's in the United States or abroad. So a bike is a way of transportation. It also can be turned into a messenger service and be its own business. Then our health, we send lots of supplies out for health in terms of personal hygiene items, cleaning items, and we also take in medical supplies, so walkers, crutches, wheelchairs, canes, orthopedic supplies. Some of those things that you are keeping in your basement or your garage for someday, guess what? You have more access to those things. Many people in developing countries don't have access to them at all. And they're taking a $5 plastic lawn chair and trying to turn it into a wheelchair so they can get around and continue to go to a job when we have these things in abundance sitting around in supply. So I encourage you, if you have those kinds of supplies, to get those to Midwest Mission, going to one of our permanent collection sites, bringing those to one of our in-gathering collections that we do throughout the Midwest. And you can find all that information on our website at midwestmission.org. Education is our other area. So we make a school kit, but the really cool project that we do is taking reclaimed bleacher wood and turning that into desks for developing countries. These desks can now seat 3 to 4 students. We have a missionary who had been to Liberia and came to Midwest Mission and talked about how he toured the school in Liberia. And they saw a student with on his knees like this, just kind of crouched in the corner. And they toured the school and came around, and that student was still like this. And so he said, I was so curious. I had to ask the teacher, is he in trouble? And the teacher said, no, he just really wants to be here and really wants to learn. And so when we provide a desk to students who have none, they're able to focus more, to be in school longer hours, and to really put their foot on that ladder to start getting their way out of poverty. These students in these developing countries know how important education is to their future, and they're so excited to be engaged and involved in that process. These desks go out through our many partners, Food for the Poor being one, the International Health and Development Network, but my favorite one that's carried desk in is our United States military. We regularly partner with them on their humanitarian aid relief missions that they do in South American, Caribbean, and Latin American countries. And there was a time where they carried these desks on their backs 7 miles into the Belize rainforest to reach a remote village. Now, the desk weighs 50 to 60 pounds, and they put them into their rucksacks and carried them in. And I had a chance to meet the Minister of Education for Belize, and he remembered me. He said, oh, you're the desk lady. And I said, yes. And he said, when they started to hear the soldiers coming through the jungle, all the children ran out, and they were cheering them on like they were in a great parade. So what you're doing and how you engage in ministry with Midwest Mission really is touching the hearts of people and getting to show God's love in that practical way. But we also want you to continue to encourage, to pray for those people who are receiving those items. And so that's why we put a prayer card in every kit that leaves Midwest Mission. Somebody prays over that, writes their name on that prayer card. So the first thing people see when they receive a kit from Midwest Mission, it was made by people, and makes that connection with them, and that they know that these people who pack this and who donated these supplies are praying for them. We also put labels on our desk and labels on our cleaning kit so people know it's from the people of the United Methodist Church, and that we are doing this because of our love for Christ, and that we send that love to them in that direction. Midwest Mission really does work to help the most vulnerable, whether it's in our local community, throughout the Midwest, or around the world. So we hope in 2021 that you'll continue to partner with us, look on our website and find the ways that you can make different supplies, put together kits at yourself or in a small group, or come and visit us on our property and see the amazing ministry that we have happening there. We also encourage you to follow us on our weekly newsletter to see the amazing God stories that are happening there every week. You read the newspaper and it's always a lot of times sad news, but this is a great way. It comes out every Friday and you can read the God news. So email office@midwestmission.org to get put on that weekly newsletter. We also hope that you continue to think about us when it comes time to partner with you at your church. We love doing offsite ministry work at your church or with your small group. We're all about making disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. And we'd love to talk to you about how we think missions and mission work can make that happen for you in your church. We ask that you continue to lift us up in prayer as we are working in 2021, as we continue to go and plan and work into 2022. God is trying to do amazing things through you and Midwest Mission.